Look at this big metal bird, but inside it feels like a garden party with tiny wicker chairs everywhere.
Why are chairs made of wood sticks? Metal is too heavy for old engines, so we sit on garden furniture. Welcome to EVIND LAB, where we fly back to see how early planes were just noisy flying living rooms today. Imagine flying, but you must wear a heavy coat because there is no heater, only cold wind coming inside. Walls thin, engine loud, like angry bees. Look, rivets dancing.
Look at these open windows. Early passengers could actually reach out and touch the clouds, but it was very messy.
Look, no bins, just fishing nets. Right above our heads, they swing. In the back, the toilet is just a hole leading straight to the sky, which is very strange and cold.
People wore their best suits and hats to sit in these shaky seats while the plane hopped over big mountains.
If the plane shakes too much, the wicker chairs might slide, so pilots use heavy bolts to stay safe.
Did you know that the first flight attendants were actually nurses? They had to keep everyone brave. It's okay, little one. There is no plastic here, only wood, leather, and fabric, because scientists did not invent light plastic materials yet. The floor is covered in carpet to hide the noise, but the engine is still louder than a giant. Do passengers need cotton balls? They might go deaf for 2 days. What? WHT? What's going on? Why did they use velvet for the walls? It absorbs some sound, but it also smells like old cigar smoke. Can you imagine sleeping in a chair that creaks like a spooky old house while flying through a storm? But wait, something is changing. The wood is disappearing, and shiny silver metal is taking over the whole cabin. If planes became made of metal, how did they stop them from becoming giant ovens in the hot sun? Evan needs more fuel? He wants more expensive fuel? What? But this is heavy. Why is it the gold is heavy? Oh, the goldie!
A wicker chair weighs only 15 pounds, which is very light, but it is not strong enough for big engines.
Scientists found a secret magic metal called Duralumin, which is aluminum mixed with copper to be super strong.
This new metal is light like a feather but tough like steel, making the plane safe and much faster now.
Now the chairs can be bolted deeply into the floor without breaking the wood, so they stay very still.
But metal is cold and hard, so they added thick leather cushions to make the passengers feel like kings.
The cabin walls are now shiny and silver, reflecting the sunlight like a giant flying mirror in the sky.
Look at this screw! Whoa! And this mail! Engineers, they calculated. No screw! Extra letter!
With metal frames, chairs can now tilt back so people can sleep better during long flights over the ocean.
The windows are smaller now. Metal walls need to be tight to keep the cabin strong and safe. Metal planes are much quieter than wood ones because the Duralumin skin acts like a shield against engine noise. Early heaters used the hot air from the metal engines to keep our toes warm inside the silver cabin. Why did they paint some metal to look like wood?
Because passengers were still afraid of flying in tin cans.
The first overhead racks are made of strong metal tubes now, so heavy coats do not fall on heads.
Everything feels solid, but the weight is still a big secret that pilots must check before every single takeoff.
If the plane is too heavy with metal and people, it will struggle to climb over the white clouds. Scientists started adding rubber between the metal parts to stop the teeth-chattering vibrations that people hated so much.
Metal allows for more seats, so more people can fly together, making tickets a little bit cheaper for everyone.
But wait, if the cabin is now a sealed metal tube, how do we breathe when flying very high?
Well, if we go even higher where the air is thin, will this metal tube pop like a shiny balloon?
Flying higher is great because we avoid bumpy storms. But the air up there is too thin to breathe.
To fix this, engineers turn the plane into a giant metal balloon that holds all the air inside tightly.
This is called pressurization, using powerful pumps to squeeze outside air and push it into our metal cabin home. But squeezed air gets very hot, so they invented cooling machines to keep the passengers from melting like butter.
Before this, heaters were just pipes touching the hot engine, which sometimes made the cabin smell like burnt oil.
Now we can wear light shirts instead of fur coats, making the interior feel like a fancy hotel room.
Look at the windows again. They are square and pretty, but square corners are actually very dangerous for metal.
When the plane inflates and deflates, the stress hides in those sharp corners until the metal suddenly goes pop.
Oh, cool.
This is a very sad science lesson from the early days when planes fell apart just because of corners.
Engineers learned to make windows round because circles spread the pressure evenly, like a strong, invisible hug everywhere.
That is why every plane you fly today has round windows. It is a law written in metal blood.
Inside, the walls are now lined with fiberglass blankets to trap the heat and keep the scary noise out.
We also have tiny valves that let old air out, so we always have fresh oxygen to breathe.
The air inside is now recycled every few minutes, making the cabin the cleanest place to stay for hours. If the pressure fails, rubber masks will drop down, but back then, pilots had to dive very fast. Why are the walls curved? Because a cylinder shape is the strongest way to hold all that squeezed air.
Modern interiors hide all these pipes and wires behind smooth plastic panels to make us feel very relaxed.
Even the floor is part of the structure, helping the plane stay round and tough against the sky.
But wait, if we are in a sealed metal balloon, what happens if a tiny pebble hits us?
Is the metal strong enough to survive a hole? Or will the air scream and run away? Oh! Even strong metal gets tired like us after running too much. And scientists call this spooky thing metal fatigue. Every time a plane flies, the cabin breathes out and in, stretching the metal skin like a giant balloon. Look at this big paper clip. Oh, if I bend it back and forth, oh, watch this. Snap! Now it's two pieces.
Tiny cracks, smaller than a baby's hair, hide inside the wings where human eyes cannot see them at all.
Look closely. The X-ray shows the hidden cracks inside. Like our bones.
They also use colorful glowing liquids that crawl into the cracks to make the danger glow under purple lights.
But metal has another enemy called rust, which eats the plane's belly when it flies through salty ocean air. To stop the tiredness and the rust, scientists invented a super material called composite, made of woven carbon fibers.
Composite is like a sandwich of plastic and carbon, making it much stronger than steel, but light as air.
Look at this. It's not metal. It never gets tired from breathing. No orange rust ever. Clean.
This means we can have much bigger windows again.
Inside a carbon plane, the air can be more humid, so your nose does not feel dry and itchy. Fresh. Look at the ceiling. Carbon planes are so strong they do not need as many heavy support beams inside.
Engineers now use computers to design every tiny curve to make the air flow perfectly around the wings.
If we use less fuel because the plane is light, we can fly much further across the whole world.
But carbon fiber is very expensive and hard to fix if a heavy suitcase accidentally hits it too hard.
We are leaving the age of clanky metal and entering the age of silent black cloth and resin.
The interior is changing from a noisy metal box to a quiet, soft capsule that feels very safe. But wait, if planes are becoming so light and strong, will they eventually fly themselves without any pilots?
What if the plane's skin could feel the air and change shape like a real bird's soft feathers?
Chapter 5: The Living Scarlet Macaw.
Imagine if the plane's skin was alive and could feel every scratch like your own little knee.
Scientists are making smart skin with tiny sensors that act like nerves to tell the pilot about danger. If a tiny crack starts, the skin releases a special liquid glue to fix itself before anyone even knows.
Look what I found! This wall is good now. No more Band-Aid or screws. Look at this. The seat is changing. It's science. Zero gravity. Feels like I'm floating on clouds.
We started with shaky wicker chairs, and now we have beds that massage your back while you fly.
Modern planes even use special LED lights that mimic the morning sun to help your brain stay very happy. Look at how quiet it is now, because we use magnets and soft air instead of loud, heavy engines. The windows can now become big TV screens or turn completely dark with just one tiny touch of fingers.
We have traveled from a noisy metal box to a smart, healing bird that cares for every single person.
But the most important thing is still the same. We want to see the world from very high up. EVIND LAB shows us that even a simple chair has a big story of math, science, and many dreams. Why did we use May before? Because we were just learning how to dance with the thin blue air.
Tomorrow, planes might be grown in labs like trees, making them the cleanest way to visit our far friends.
Science never stops asking, what if? And that is why we can fly higher than the tallest mountains.
Every screw and every fabric in your seat was thought about by a very smart person for years.
Next time you fly, remember the wicker chairs. Be glad you have a soft, safe cushion. There is still so much to discover about how we move across our big, beautiful, and blue planet. Stay curious and keep looking up, because the sky is just the beginning of our very long walk. This is EVIND LAB. Follow us to see what secret science is hiding in your world every day.